Good morning. Good morning. I'm sorry. I am running a little bit late this morning. I was trying to deal with a little bit of traffic and stuff. But anyway, good morning, everyone. How are you all? Uh-oh. How are you all? I am here this morning. We are talking about how we show up to the table in our relationships. Let me see. I'm going to put this on. This side? I don't know. Okay. All right. I hope everyone is doing well this morning. I'm here. It's been a busy morning already for me, so just give me a minute here. But anyway, I know these days we live in this sort of, have it your way, just do it, don't worry about anyone else, just do you type of society. And that can really a lot of times sort of put us in a bad habit of just kind of showing up in the world however we feel, right? However we feel, whatever our mood is of the day, whatever our flavor is for the day, that's how we're showing up in the world. And a lot of times that ends up being reflected in how we dress, how we treat others, how we talk to people, um, how we interact with other people in our day-to-day interactions with others, which can affect ultimately how we experience our relationships and how other people experience us within our relationships. And how we show up affects everything about, how we are experiencing our relationships. Good morning, Marissa. Marissa Mack. How are you? Good to see you this morning. Welcome in. So, and that affects how we are seen at work, how in our relationships, it affects our work relationships, it reflects our home relationships with our friends and family, how we show up, what we bring to the table. Because if we want quality relationships, we have to make sure that we are bringing quality ingredients to the table. And so I want to talk about that this morning, what we're bringing to the table, what type of ingredients that we're bringing to the table. Now, a lot of us think that it shouldn't matter, how we are, or we just want to be ourselves in our relationships, and we just want to be able to be us, and we don't want to have to be something that we're not, which is the truth. But we still need to make sure that what we are bringing to the table is quality. It's still quality ingredients, right? Nobody wants junk in their relationships. We all have to bring certain things to the table that we sometimes wish we didn't have to bring, but we still need to make sure that we're bringing quality ingredients to the table so that we can have good quality relationships. Now, good morning. Thank you. I'm excited. I was excited about this topic too. Good morning, Jaden. How are you? Welcome in. I know everyone is not going to be ready to receive this message this morning, and I'm perfectly fine with that because I'm just telling you all, really what I had to go through and learn about myself. And if it relates with you, if it resonates with you, then hit the subscribe button and I'll, continue watching, and I'll share with you some things that I learned about why it matters what we bring to the table and how we show up every day in life. Um, we can get, none of us likes to be told that anything is ever wrong with us, right? None of us likes that because we like to create our own little bubbles and our own little worlds of feeling like where we convince ourselves that it's nothing wrong with us, it's everybody else out in the world, right? Everyone else has the issue, and we want everyone else to adjust to how we are, and we don't want to have to make any adjustments. And anyone who dares to try to tell us that something is wrong with us, we get upset, right? We're ready to slit their throats and throw them off a bridge and then say, okay, now what was that you were saying? Right? Now, how is it that what were you trying to tell me again? Because we don't want to have to make any adjustments with ourselves. We don't want to have to put in any work. We don't want to have to make any changes. And we're just more comfortable with the world adjusting to us rather than us trying to make some adjustments to get along better with others in the world. And that's the way we have come to be in our society, and it is affecting our relationships. And even though we think sometimes that we don't have an issue with us and that other people just have an issue with us and they just need to get over it or this and that, in those quiet moments we struggle, right? It's in those quiet moments when we're by ourselves that we deal with that bit of loneliness and depression. When those thoughts, come in where we're dealing with shame and blame and, all these things that sort of enter our minds that we don't always want to talk about or we don't want to admit. Which are also affected. And yes, Marissa, what we need sometimes is to be uncomfortable. We need those people in our lives who challenge us to be better. If you don't have anybody in your life that's challenging you to be better, then you need to get new friends. You need to get new people in your life, people who can look at you and say, hey, you know what, I think I can help you do this, or I see you struggling with this, let me help you do that. Or you know what, if you worked on this a little bit, I could see you going a long way with this. Everyone in our lives should not be yes people, right? It's good to have cheerleaders in your life. It's good to have people who support you and love you and encourage you. But you also need some people in your life who challenge you to be better, who challenge your thoughts, who challenge your ideas, who challenge your opinions, to make you sharper. Iron sharpens iron. And if you don't have people in your life who challenge you, if everybody in your life agrees with you and thinks you're the greatest thing since sliced bread, then you probably need to get some new people in your life, because we all need work. We all need work. And I appreciate those times that I get those people in my life who challenge me a bit, on my thoughts or what I'm doing or what I'm saying or how I'm saying something, whether I agree or disagree. I appreciate sometimes what they bring, their thoughts and opinions about what I'm saying or what I'm doing. Sometimes it resonates and I can make some changes and adjustments, and other times it may not. I never know, but I'm always open to receive, you see. So I want to talk about growth requires challenge. It absolutely requires challenge. So I want to talk about some things that I've learned, that for sure we need to make sure we're doing better by these things. Okay, and the first one is your dress matters. Your dress matters. I know we think that it shouldn't matter what we put on, it shouldn't matter how we look, it's just clothing and all this other stuff, and that is the truth. It is just clothing. However, what how we dress says more about how we feel about ourselves than it does anyone else. It says more about how we feel about ourselves than it does anyone else. If you don't care how you represent you, then you're definitely not going to care how you're representing others. And depending on the situation, depending on who you're trying to be in a relationship with, or where you're trying to work, or what circles you're trying to be in, how you dress matters. How you dress matters. If you don't care about what you put on, if you don't care how you show up in the world, then, you know, and other people do, then they may not want to be in relationship with you. If you go out in the world looking any old kind of way, and I'm not saying you have to be dressed to the nine and wearing $1,000 suits and, you know, uh, you know, $1,000 shoes and all this kind of stuff, but you need to look decent and in order, right? And I know that everyone's version of decent and in order is very different. However, when people are, looking at you maybe with their eyes, their eyebrows turned up, or looking at you side-eyed or something because of what you have on. They're looking at you because of, not because of just how you dress, but how you representing yourself, right? How you representing yourself. How we dress says a lot about how we feel about ourselves. And if you don't care about you, then you don't care about how you are when you're with me. And I may care about how I look, or how I show up in the world, or and how others see me. And if you are representing us as a unit, right? Because when you're in a relationship, uh, you are you represent each other. You don't just represent yourself. You want to be that person that's like, oh, that's so and so's wife, oh, that's so and so's husband, and you don't want them being like, oh, that's so and so's husband, or yeah, that's so and so's wife, right? So it's a totally different type of reaction, right? We want to represent the people that we are with in a positive light and in a positive way, so that people will, you'll represent how the love and respect that you all have for each other within the relationship. I care about how I'm seen, because I want people to know that my husband has, a nice looking wife or something, or a wife who cares about herself, who has respect for herself. Or the same thing for, if it's the opposite, for a husband, right? That he cares about his hair looking decent, or maybe his beard being shaped up, or um, you know making sure that he's not wearing tattered clothes, or just showing up smelly, right, stinky, or whatever, right? He cares that he has some respect for himself and for the relationship as a unit. So your dress, it matters. It's representation. Your dress, how you dress, represents the representation that you want to have in the relationship. And if you want a quality relationship, then you need to bring a quality apparel. Your dress needs to reflect that quality and care and respect that you have for yourself and for the relationship. Your attitude matters. Your attitude matters. It reveals how you treat yourself, how you treat the world, and how you treat others. If we put out what we expect to receive. So if we put out a lot of attitude, good morning, V Loves TNN. Good morning, the positive pusher. Good to see you. And yes, Marissa, we show up how you want to be treated. Yes, show up how you want to be treated. So our attitude matters. If we come to, with a bad attitude, then we can expect to receive a bad attitude. If we come with a negative attitude, then we can expect to receive negative. If we put positive out, then we can expect that positive will return back to us. People who want good put out good, and they expect to receive good, and they don't accept less than good. So, set the tone. We set the tone. We set the tone of our atmosphere. We set the tone of our relationships. We set the tone of our marriages by the type of attitude that we bring to the relationship. So your attitude matters. If you know that you have a little stank attitude, or that your attitude can be very negative or sarcastic, or any of that, then we need to work on that. We have to work on that. We have to work on that attitude, because if we want good, healthy, positive, loving relationships, we have to bring good, healthy, positive, loving attitudes to the relationships. We can't be a negative sourpuss person and want to have a good, happy, loving, happy-go-lucky type of relationship. It doesn't work that way. If people look at you and you're always angry, you're always pissed, you're always mad at the world, then that doesn't make them want to be in relationship with you. It sets off a lasting impression. You're right, Marissa. It sets off a lasting impression. Impressions go a long way, and we think that, oh, well, that was just me one day, and if they want to make, you know, think that that one time they saw me that way is how I am, well, then I don't care. But you do care. We do care. We care because we want to be in good, healthy, lasting relationships. And we want to be seen as good, but we can't be seen as good. We can't be seen as happy. We can't be seen as positive and loving if we're not reflecting that out into the world. So your attitude matters. So work on that attitude if you know that you're struggling with some things. You have things going on in your life that's bringing you to be negative, to be short-tempered, or to be sarcastic or ugly with others, or impatient even. Whatever it is, work on that. Work on that. Your presence in the room matters. It reveals the amount of respect that you have for those around you. Okay. How important to you is your time and the time of others, right? Because what that reveals is a sense of selfishness. Selfishness. If you are in a room with a room full of people, or with just someone else that you're trying to be in relationship with, right? Work relationships, personal relationships, family relationships, and you're checked out, then that lets people know that you don't really care about how your interaction is with them. Maybe you don't care about the people that you're around, so you don't care to be interacting with them. Or it could be that you are so into you and what you're doing, or what's important to you. Maybe you're buried in your phone, or having your own thoughts and conversations, and you're not interacting with others, then people will tend to think that you have a selfish personality because you're here in a room full of people and you're not interacting with anyone. And so that can become a turnoff. So your presence in the room matters. When we show up in a room full of people, we need to be present. We need to engage. We need to speak for all of all things, right? Speak to people. Say hello. I can't even tell you how many times I can walk in a room, or I've been in a room where people weren't speaking to each other, right? Just there, and I mean, we just need to get back into a habit of even saying hello. How are you? Um, Good to see you. Welcome, whatever the situation is. So, get to a space where you are present. When you're in a room with others, be present. And when you're in the room with your spouse, or when you're in the room with your children, or in the room with family members, be present. Don't be in your phone. Don't be watching television and this. Make sure you speak and engage. It doesn't have to always be a long conversation, but just acknowledge others. And that lets others know that you're not a selfish person. Don't that we're not disregarding them, or acting like they don't exist, like they don't matter. And that also helps to improve the health of our relationships and how we interact with others. How we talk to others matters. Okay. How we talk to others matters. It reveals how we expect to be treated. If we talk harsh, if our words are sharp, if our tone is sharp, if we are always angry, if we snap at people a lot, if we're demanding, uh, then you're going to receive that back. Like receives like, and that's just the truth. Like receives like. If you want kindness and respect, you have to give kindness and respect. When talk to others, I talk to them no matter how they're talking to me. I talk in a manner that I make sure that they speak to me, you know, in a manner of how I'm speaking to them. And if for some reason I'm not receiving that, I will let them know. I will let them know I'm speaking to you with the utmost respect. And I expect to receive that same level of, respect. Now, if I disrespect you, I understand you disrespecting me. But if I'm not disrespecting you, then I don't expect to be disrespected. And I will let people know that. I have no problem letting people know if they're speaking to me in a manner that's harsh, or if that's demanding or this and that. I'll say, hey, you know what? I will be able to receive that better if you say it to me like this. Right. So we have to teach people how to talk to us, but that also means that we can't talk to people any kind of way. We can't talk to people however we want to. Good morning, the paper diva. I want to call you the purple diva. I'm sorry. The paper diva. How are you? Good to see you. Welcome, welcome. I appreciate you being here this morning. Um, so how we talk to others matters. If you know that you tend to be a little sharp in your tone, or that you can come across demanding or bossy, then we need to work on that. We have to work on how we talk, because we don't want people talking bossy and demanding to us, right? How we expect to be treated, we have to talk to others in the same way. How we interact with others matters. We think that people are not paying attention. If you're trying to be in a relationship, and you know that you talk crazy to your family, or to your kids, or to your spouse, or and we're at work and they see us talking crazy to these people who are close to us, how do you think that they're going to feel, how we're going to treat them? It's like, wow, if they talk to their wife that way, or if they talk to their husband that way, they talk to their kids that way, how are they going to talk, how do they talk to me? Like, these are people who they supposedly care about, right? If they talk to their brothers and sisters or their parents that way, how are they going to talk to me? And these are little things that we ignore sometimes when we're trying to be in a relationship, right? We think, oh, well, they talk to them that way, but they don't talk to me that way. It's just a matter of time, baby. It's just a matter of time. So, whatever you see, however you see people treating others, right? If you see people treating their family members, their friends, their coworkers in a disrespectful way, you can expect that same level of disrespect at some point in the relationship is going to come to you. So, you know, it matters how we interact with others. So if you have bad relationships with family members or with friends or coworkers, work on those things. Work on those things that you can do. We can't control other people, but we can control us. We can control how we speak to people. We can control our attitudes towards people. We can control the amount of respect that we show people, right? And it doesn't matter, because even if they continue to be disrespectful, others will say, you know what, I saw how you handled that, and I was quite impressed or amazed. And and now you've developed a good relationship with this other person, even though the person you were speaking to was continuing to have a bad response, or not speaking kindly or respectfully to you. As long as you behave in a manner and you carry yourself in a manner with the utmost respect and care and concern, because of who you are and how you feel about yourself and how you feel um, about people in general, right? We have a kindness and a certain level of respect for people. I see people all the time who have negative, nasty, ugly attitudes, but I still respect that they're a child of God and they deserve my respect, whether they give it to me or not, because I respect the person who made them and who put them in this world. And so I treat them accordingly. And you know what? You would be amazed at how, because you have more respect for others than sometimes they do for themselves, you will be able to influence them to have more respect for themselves, just because of how you treat them. You show them a different side. You can show them a different side of them that they didn't even know existed, right? So a lot of times we feel about ourselves because of the reflection that we receive off of others. So if we show people that, hey, I see good in you, then they can begin to start to see good within themselves, and they will start to change and treat themselves a little bit differently. So just because you see someone with a bad attitude, don't write them off, right? Don't just be like, oh, I don't want to deal with that. I don't have to deal with that, right? Because you can still have an impact on them. You can still have an impact on them. Let me go back a little bit. It says the paper diva says, this is absolutely true. My family talks crazy to each other. And I used to talk to my husband crazy early in our marriage. And he told me, yes, exactly. That's awesome. I love that. And we pick up these things from our families, and from different our cultures that we don't realize, and we bring it into our relationships. And then, the person's like, hey, you're kinder to people outside than you are to me, or you're treating me like you treat your family members. And I haven't even done, these things to you. And then so we get checked, right? We get checked and we learn and realize that we need to work on some stuff. And, but the beautiful thing is that you were willing to make some changes, that you were willing to see it, that you were willing to accept it and make the changes and say, hey, help me to do better. Help me to do better by my spouse. Help me to do better by, by my children. Help me to do better by my family, by my coworkers. Yeah, you don't even know you're doing it sometimes. That's why I say we have to keep people in our lives that challenge us to be better, that aren't afraid to show us who we are, good, the bad, and the downright ugly. And to be able to say, I accept that, I receive that, and I will work on that. I'm not going to get it perfect every time. I'm not going to say that I'll never make another mistake, but you have my commitment that I will work on being better. And it will make all the difference in the world in how that relationship goes. Um, yes. Okay. Make sure I got everyone. Yeah. So, and then the last thing I just want to say, who we're representing most definitely matters. If we are children of God, if we are believers, if we are, you know, Christ-centered people that we say we are, how we show up in the world and the quality of ingredients that we bring to the table absolutely matters. Um, we represent ourselves, we represent God, and we represent the person that we're in relationship with. So I ask you all again, how are you showing up? When someone is trying, and we offer grace. Absolutely, we offer grace. Grace is so important when we're dealing with people who are difficult to deal with. And if you're, like I say, and if you're not sure how you're showing up, because a lot of times we aren't, we're just being our normal selves, we're just being who we've always been, or who we just grew up to be. Ask somebody, hey, what do you see when you see me? How do you see me interacting in my relationships? What do you think about my interaction with my husband or with my wife or with my spouse? What do you see about what do you observe with my interactions with my children or with my brothers and sisters? And you'd be surprised at what might come out of people's mouths. Like, oh, well, I see y'all are pretty harsh with each other, or I see y'all y'all tend to yell at each other a lot, or y'all tend to speak sarcastically to each other, or make negative statements about each other, or tend to be very critical or judgmental, or I see that you all are very loving or very caring, y'all always speak positive. Like, you'd be surprised at what comes out of people's mouths, things that they're paying attention to and see that we don't even see. Okay, that we don't even see. And so that those are easy ways for us to learn where we can make adjustments, how to make adjustments, and start making some of those adjustments so that we can improve the health of our relationships. So, how are you showing up? How are you showing up? Ask yourself, how am I showing up to the table in my relationships, and what am I bringing? Am I bringing attitude? Am I bringing love and kindness? Am I bringing respect? Am I bringing joy and happiness? Am I bringing expectations, positive, good expectations? Am I bringing negativity? What am I bringing? What am I bringing to the table? And what am I expecting to receive? Because if I'm bringing something, and if because if what I'm receiving is not what I'm expecting, it could be partially because of what I'm bringing. Okay, so just ask yourself these questions. Positive says yes, giving people that we trust permission to speak into our lives is so important. Yes, people you trust. Don't just go asking any random person. Ask somebody who you trust, who you think will tell you the truth, and not just be like, oh, y'all are fine. No, ask people who tell you the truth. Marissa says, I will ask these questions. I think I'm okay, but I'm curious if it matches my thoughts. Absolutely. Yeah. Because sometimes what we think is not what we think we're putting out is not what the world is receiving. We can be, putting out our best intentions, and yet they can be coming across totally different than what we're putting out. So I'm glad that you're willing to do that, and work on the things that need to be worked on. All right, I gotta go this morning, guys. I gotta head into work, and thank you for this time. I hope that you got a little pep talk to work on, what you're bringing to the table. I don't care how long you've been married. I don't care if you've been married for 5 years or 20 years or 50 years, or you're not married at all. Maybe you're just trying to get in a relationship. Maybe you're trying to be in a relationship, or you're trying to stay in one, right? So whatever it is, it's never too late and never too early to work on ourselves and what we're bringing, and to improve the quality of the ingredients that we're bringing to our relationships. You all have a phenomenal day, blessed day. I love you all. Take care. I will probably be back tomorrow because I'm having some trouble with my computer. So I might be live tomorrow and Friday, the rest of this week. All right, y'all take care. Have a great one. Love y'all. Bye bye.